Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Tammy Doe, and today I'm going to give you an update on my Moldavite experience. So, 9 months ago, I came across this stone called Moldavite. And actually, two friends recommended me get this stone. Two separate people recommended me to get the same stone. And I want you to pay attention to that. Because whenever two separate people recommend you the same thing, there's probably a reason why you need to get it. And so I thought, well, that's kind of weird. I'm just going to get, I've never heard of this stone before. Two people recommend it at the same time. Why not? So I looked up into the stone. The stone's called Moldavite, and it looks like this, right? It's a little itty green stone, and apparently it's the stone that fell from the sky, and it's known as a stone of transformation. So 15 million years ago, a meteorite hit the earth, and it made a splash. And during that splash, these stones were created. So there's only one place in the world that these stones can be found at, and it's in the Czech Republic. And so I was like, oh cool, this is a stone for space. And so when I looked up and read into the stone, it's supposed to mean the stone of transformation, meaning the stone will help you transform your life, find your true purpose, build up psychic abilities, like all this spiritual stuff that I have no idea about. Like at that point, I know nothing about crystals, nor really cared to look into it. I kind of dabbled in it. I just knew I needed a couple stones for meditation, right? Maybe it'll help me with career, finance, love, whatever it is, depending on the color. Like I really had no idea. And so I would hear some people say, oh, do you feel the stone's energy? I've never felt a stone's energy. So I thought, well, why not, right? I could use some transformation in my life. And so I got a stone. And it's 9 months in. Let me fill you in what happened. Starting off, 2 months into it, I called quits on my job, right? At that point, I was a financial advisor going on 8 years. I started up my own insurance brokerage. I was pretty miserable in that industry. And I thought that maybe if I started my own business, it'd be better. Nope, it didn't. So right after I got the stone, I came to realize, like, this is not the career for me. Done. Packed my bags, went to Dallas. So here I am in Dallas, not really sure what to do with my life. I was like, well, this stone, I think it did something. And so I started researching more. I was like, okay, this is pretty fascinating. I want to make this into jewelry where I want everyone to have this kind of stone. So I started an Etsy page and started making handmade jewelry, like necklaces and bracelets with these stones, because I thought everybody needs a stone. Like they're gonna transform, like they're gonna wake up. I don't know to what, but I feel like it's working, it's happening. And so when people talk about the stone, it's like once you get a stone, like there's no turning back. So I don't know what it means for other people, but for me, I was like, okay, well, a lot of stuff is starting to come up really quick. I'm not really sure what to do. And I'm not really sure of my like sporadic actions. And so I was like, okay, maybe I can make a living selling handmade rocks. And I'm going to teach people about crystal energy on YouTube. So I go ahead and created a YouTube page and talked about crystal energies. Fast forward a little bit further, I end up going to the largest crystal gem show. I took a 14-hour road trip with two friends to the Arizona Gem Show in January. And so that's, if you don't know much about it, it's the largest gem show once a year in Arizona. And so all these countries will come together and sell rocks, just precious gems, different crystals, different stones. And I thought, well, maybe it'll be cheaper because I've been buying all these Moldavites at the crystal shop for full price. And so, you know, a little stone like this could easily be around like 30 to 50 bucks, depending on the quality. And just to put it out there, there's a ton of fakes out there. And so just be careful, especially if you buy online. China has really good imitation ones where you, like, some vendors won't even know it's real or fake. So do be careful when you buy stones online. So here I am taking a 14-hour road trip to Arizona with 2 friends. Like, really had no idea, what I'm gonna find there, but I just knew I had to get some crystals. And at that point, I was like also meditating. I just had this gut instinct that I need to get Moldavites and bring it to Vietnam, right? At that point, like, I haven't been back to Vietnam in a very, very long time, like 9 years ago. And the first time I went back was during a study abroad, so only I took a week there. But I had no background about my country at all, right? And so I just knew I had to take it to Vietnam, to this really holy tomb, because 2 weeks after the gem show, my parents were going to Vietnam and they invited me to go. And so for one, my dad's going there to visit family, but 2, he also wanted to go visit this really sacred tomb of this priest. And so if you read this article here, right, people flock to this tomb and they pray and they say, like, miracles happen here, like prayers would be answered. Like, at that point, I was not even focused on my job. Like, I left my career as a financial advisor. I was just focusing on, okay, making crystals and selling these jewelers and making YouTube videos. I knew I had to go get these stones and bring it to this sacred tomb. And so I got my ticket to Vietnam, and I was supposed to leave 2 weeks after the Arizona trip. So I went to Arizona with 2 friends, 14-hour road trip, got the stones, and on the way back, we were involved in a head-on collision. It was Super Bowl Sunday, 2019. We were driving on an 80-mile-per-hour road, and if you ever drove to Arizona before, it's like this large desert area, right? And so you would drive like long stretches at a time with probably no gas station. And twice already, I thought we were gonna run out of gas because the lights been on for a while and there's no gas station in sight. And so I was like, oh my God, we are gonna be stranded on the side of the road. But luckily, twice we were able to find the gas station just in the nick of time. So here are me and my 2 friends, got our stones and crystals, we came back, and on this long stretch, 80 mile per hour, that's a speed limit, right? 80 mile per hour, a deer jumped out. A deer jumped out and we had a head-on collision. And my car was completely totaled. And in that moment, when all 3 of us realized what happened, the first thought that came into my head is, like, is everybody okay? Because when you look at these pictures, and when I show it to the doctors, like, even they were surprised that we were survived. Like, all 3 of us walked away without a scratch. And we went out and we saw the deer on the side of the road. And for me, like, one, my car is totaled, but I also felt something for the deer, because from now looking back at it, I feel like the deer sacrificed itself to save 3 of us. The reason why I'm telling you that is a few minutes down the road, there was another accident where a car was hanging off a bridge, right? I don't know if it was fatal or not. I just felt like the deer prevented that from, like, for us being involved in that accident. We just all 3 hugged each other and just prayed and was thankful that we survived that day. And so we all came to our senses again. And I'm about to show you some of these pictures. It may be graphic for some of you, good picture of the deer. But for me, it touches me every time looking at the picture. I don't know, it's something personally for me. So all 3 of us, like, I've never been involved in an accident before, and I'm supposed to leave to Vietnam in 2 weeks. And so now my car is totaled. I'm supposed to handle these insurance claims within 2 weeks so that I get everything done so I can leave for my trip. And so it was on Super Bowl Sunday. And you know what the crazy thing is? And that's the moment when I thought, okay, there is a higher power at play. Because why the Super Bowl Sunday was so significant. And if you see my first video about my Moldavite experience, I'm gonna put in the link in the bio below. I talk about my first near-death experience. That happened Super Bowl Sunday 2017, when I had my first near-death experience. And it wasn't intentional. I was at a friend's party, and I remember going into a seizure and seeing a dark tunnel and a white light. And in that moment, I was not in my body. I was in space. And I remember my life being reviewed, and I'm asking myself, what is my purpose? Like, at that point, I had no idea what my purpose was, because at the point I was still doing financial advising, and I was miserable. Like, I see all the corruption, all the greed in the industry, the insurance companies, the financial, the banks. Like, it really bothered me. And so at that point I thought, well, maybe if I created my own business, it'll be better. But it didn't. And so when I had that first near-death experience, I promised myself that if I were able to come back to my body, like, I would do whatever it takes to find my purpose. And I'll never forget that day, Super Bowl Sunday 2017. So if you want to watch that video, I posted it in the video below. But ever since that day, I haven't stopped searching. And for that second near-death experience to happen on Super Bowl Sunday 2019, exactly 2 years from my first near-death. And at this point, it seems like I left everything behind to go follow this path. It's like starting over. And when I realized it was Super Bowl 2019, 2 years, exactly 2 years since my first near-death. Like, how could it be even possible that this accident happened on the same day, right? Like, how is it a deer ran out and we collided with the deer? Like, it wasn't like it intentionally hit the deers. It could have killed all three of us. Like, if you see these pictures, the car was totaled. And the crazy thing is, the deer had a horn. And so when it hit the front of the car, when I looked at the mirror in the front of the car at the wreck yard, there was a hole that was punctured in. And so, like, if the horn would have punctured in, I don't know who would have died, who would have survived. And so ever since that day, I realized, oh my gosh, it's like my old life is shedding. Like, I decided to leave everything behind, my career, and go down this unknown path to sell rocks, of all stuff, like to sell rocks. And I realized, like, maybe this is what I'm meant to do, right? Maybe these stones and crystals are here to help. And, like, for me, I have no doubt these Moldavites have something to do with it. Because in the car, I had a handful of I had about 50, 60 Moldavites that I gathered up all my savings and to go get. And so that car had a lot of energy inside. And I don't know, that day, I would never forget that day. And I just knew, okay, maybe there's something there that I don't know, and I just need to continue down this path. Even though I don't know how I'm going to sustain myself, I just knew I had to get these stones out for people. And within 2 weeks, the insurance company claimed the car was totaled. And so they were able to give us back some of the insurance money for the car. And so I took that money and I left to Vietnam. And I brought these stones to the sacred tomb in Vietnam. And you'll never guess what I came across. So the first thing I see coming in, check this out. Is it not a bunch of deers? What is going on? Not only that, but when I got to the tomb of the priest, I sat there and prayed individually with each Moldavite, and I looked up and I saw a deer in the vase. And if you take a look at the vase on top of the tomb, there's a deer there. Like, I had no idea what this tomb is all about, but I just knew that my dad went twice here to pray for two people who were seriously ill, and both of them recovered. And one of them was actually my uncle. And so there's something here that we can't explain, but miracles do happen at these different sacred spots. There's a lot of stuff that I can't explain. And maybe it's not my job to explain it to everyone. I just know that this stone made a significant and profound change in my life. And the more I learn about crystal energy, the more I share with it on my YouTube videos. At first I thought, okay, well, what am I doing? I'm risking everything to go talk about rocks. But what got me to continue doing it is several times, people would reach out to me and just really express themselves to me. It's like, hey, Tammy, I'm really, really sad. I'm really depressed. Is there a stone that I can get to really help deal with these emotions? And some of these people, I just knew they were not in a good place, right? And so that gave me inspiration and motivation to keep going. Even though I had no idea it was going to take me. And so that's why I do these YouTube videos. That's why I want to share with people. The more I learn about crystal energy and the more spiritual route I take, there's something there that I'm starting to piece together. Science is one thing, spirituality is one thing, but I'm starting to see a commonality in between. And so what I'm really good at, just being in the financial world and the insurance world, and talking to my clients, is I'm really good at taking complicated information and making it simple. And that's my goal for these next couple YouTube videos. And so the purpose of me doing this update on this Moldavite experience is I want to give away 3 Moldavites to its owner, right? So if you study crystal energies long enough, you realize that it's not really us that chooses a stone. It's actually the stone that chooses you. And for me, these stones are priceless, right? I don't have that many left, because when I left to Vietnam, I took all that I had. Is actually my entire savings left here in the stones. And so I just knew, I took it to the tomb and I prayed with it individually, each one. And I took it with me to the top of the mountains in Fenisman, the tallest peak in Asia. And we trekked for 2 days to get there. And these stones have always been on my body in my little fanny pack. But there's something so powerful and profound about these stones that I hope that when its owner finds it, that it may awaken them, and so that they can light the way for others, right? And so in the next couple weeks, I want to give away 3. And I'm going to put information on how you can qualify or enter this. One is, I truly want to give this out because I know it helps people. And so 3 is what I can start with. And if you can help me, and if you're willing and able to, is to share my video, do whatever you can. You can help support me on Patreon, or you can buy me a cup of coffee, or contribute to my PayPal, right? Because right now I'm still in Vietnam. I was only supposed to go on vacation for 2 weeks. It's now almost 3 months. All signs led me to here. Because when I'm here in my home country, honestly, I've never knew much about Vietnam at all. I live in the States most of my life. And just coming back here and seeing the poverty and how far behind we are as a country, I just want to stay and help out. And so, if you could see my couple of travel videos, also all these videos I'm piecing with my phone. But I want you to see the beauty of this country. And for those who haven't been back in a while, I really hope you do come back and invest some money back in our economy. And so, I've been here for 3 months. I'm actually considering staying here and working on my Vietnamese passport. And I'm planning to do a tourism business to bring people back here to help the economy. And I want to share with you all the beauty that Vietnam has to offer, and perhaps take you on this spiritual journey yourself, so that you can wake up to finding your purpose. I know all the spirituality talks doesn't make sense to a lot of people, and I don't want to tell you what you should get or what you shouldn't get, But for me, this stone, and I feel like there's a reason why, if you read into the stone, people say it changed their lives. And throughout this next couple of videos, when I talk about crystal energy, I hope that you can connect the dots. And so that, you will find something inside of you that will help you wake up and find your true calling. But that's all I have for now. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to put information on below on how you can help out and how you can support me. And hopefully 3 of its owners can come pick up these stones or come find it. So when it does come, I'm going to reach out to you and mail you these stones. So I'm giving you a 3 in the next couple of weeks. Information in the bio below. But that is my short update on my Moldavite experience, 9 months in, and my entire life has changed. And so I hope that this message resonates with you. And if not, that's okay too. Just know that you are exactly where you need to be. And so when the time comes for your awakening, your enlightenment, whatever you want to put it, I hope you're prepared for it. That's all I have for now. Tammy Doe, signing off.